Happy New Year 2023. Questions and answers, Q&A. That's what we're gonna do today. About 50 most common questions that I receive on a channel. Let's go. It's straight up amazing.
What is your real name?
My real name will remain a mystery for good, because that's the most searched thing when you type my nickname on Google, so let it remain so. It's very hard for people to pronounce my name, okay? That's why the nickname is way much easier and is similar to the real name.
How old are you?
I'm 35 years old, soon to be 36.
Are you married?
Yes, I am for 8 years now.
Happily or? Okay, next one. When did you start creating content?
I started streaming 7 years ago, and I wasn't streaming regularly, maybe like 1-2 days a week, 3 to 4 hours. That lasted for a year or two. Then I was streaming more often, let's say 4 to 5 days a week, 4 or 5 hours per day. Then I opened YouTube channel 5 years ago, and I just uploaded walkthroughs on it. I never recorded videos, edited, and so on. So basically it was like an archive, a library at the beginning, and I didn't use it as often. The real time when I started recording videos was for Divinity Original Sin 2, and from then you can say that I'm doing videos on YouTube. But out of those 5 years on YouTube, I might have spent like 3 years actively working on it. Okay, like around 1,000 days working on it. That's the reality.
Next one. What would be the best way to support your channel and work?
The best way to support my channel by far is just by watching my videos on YouTube. And I gave plenty of options, from Patreon to classic donations via PayPal. Of course, subscribe buttons on Twitch and so on. The main issue here, when you subscribe on Twitch or in any other company, okay, they get to keep 50%, then the US tax is 30%, so that means that I only get 20%. So basically you throw 80% of your money in air, you give it to companies, okay? And the best way is just to watch my YouTube videos. If you really wish to spend money, then it's on my Patreon page. Everything else, you give it to companies, not to me. From $5, I only see $1 when you subscribe. That's the reality.
Okay. How can we contact you?
You can contact me on Steam. If you add me as a friend over there, there's a link to my Steam page on my YouTube channel. You can also join my Discord page. All of us are over there, okay? People from this channel. And you can ask whatever the hell you like over there. That's the easiest way, Discord and Steam.
Gamepad or keyboard?
When I was younger, it was only joysticks and gamepads. Then I got my first PC 186, it was only keyboard. Then on Windows 95 it was only keyboard and mouse. Since 95th till, let's say, 2017, I was only using mouse and keyboard. So that's around 22 years of playing with only mouse and keyboard. And then I got older and I realized I want to lay back and play with a gamepad. So when I have an option to play with a gamepad, I usually pick a gamepad now because it's good for my back. Okay, my back hurts now. when I go with mouse and keyboard.
Favorite game of all time?
My favorite game of all time is definitely Diablo 1 from 95th, December 31st, 1995. I played it for years and I finished that game over 30 times.
The best CRPG of all time?
Before Wrath of the Righteous, it was Baldur's Gate 2. I also loved Dragon Age Origins. With Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, I can easily say it's Wrath of the Righteous. We're gonna see what they're gonna do. I mean, I'll get what they're gonna do with Rogue Trader, because right now it's in early alpha, but if I have to pick one CRPG, it would be Wrath of the Righteous.
The best RPG?
Witcher 3. Next gen, Wild Hunt, call it how you like, with all DLCs.
The best Metroidvania of all time?
Eterna Noctis. Before that it was Hollow Knight. Before Hollow Knight it was Symphony and Super Metroid. If I have to pick one, it would be Eterna Noctis, because it's biggest, longest and hardest and most beautiful Metroidvania ever created.
The best platformer of all time?
The best platformer of all time. That's a huge list, but I believe that Rayman, let's say Rayman Legends, achieved the most out of all platformers. Like, it's a most complete platformer that I ever played, and I played them all.
The best game ever created?
The best game ever created, in my eyes, is probably a battle between Witcher 3 of course, Elden Ring, Wrath of the Righteous, and Diablo 2. Perhaps we can add World of Warcraft in that list, but I would remove them all, and I would say that that's my personal favorites that I counted over there. If I have to pick one, objectively speaking now, not my opinion, the game that had the most impact on video gaming history, it would be Doom 1 by far. Doom 1 and Diablo 1 had the biggest impact on the gaming history and on all genres.
What would be the best adventure of all time?
The best adventure of all time, that would probably be some of the Monkey Island games. Maybe the first Monkey Island, let's say, or Broken Sword, some out of those two.
The best cringe Hollywood-like game of all time?
God of War for PlayStation 4, 5.
Favorite music genre?
I would go with metal for my entire life. Metal and blues. Okay, hard rock, metal, blues. Right now, I only listen to instrumentals, mostly video game music that I like. That's the music I'm listening to right now, but I was younger. Everything from 60s, 70s, 80s, from Led Zeppelin and Rainbow, all the way to Motley Crue.
How many pets you got?
I got 11 cats and 3 dogs.
Do you always play games on hardest difficulty?
Yes, I do. Since I was a kid, I only played games on the hardest difficulty available.
What's your opinion on multiplayer games?
I used to spend a lot of time in multiplayer games. I played with those pros in League of Legends, with and against them. I played against, I also played against Faker once, one-on-one on mid lane. So I did spend a lot of time playing League of Legends. I was the second Crusader worldwide on Diablo 4 on a ladder. I had a legendary status in Hearthstone, and I don't know what else. I had multiple speedruns for different games, okay, and I won a lot of competitions in multiplayer games. I don't play multiplayer in the last 5 or 6 years. My opinion about multiplayer games would be that single player games are forever. Multiplayer games are just temporary.
Is Twitch and YouTube your full-time job, and can you make a living out of it?
Yes and no. It is and it's not. I got a lot of things that I'm doing right now for, let's say, 4 or 5 different jobs. And as time goes on, I am more focused on YouTube right now than on anything else. Okay, but before, today, in the future, yes, you can make living out of it, but it's very hard to succeed because the competition is freaking huge.
What would be your favorite homemade food or meal made out of things you grow yourself?
My favorite food... I'm not that demanding, okay. Probably potatoes, anything that comes out of paprika, ayvar, things like that, okay. Domestic eggs, domestic salads, tomatoes, cucumbers, with a lot of olive oil. That's about it, it's nothing special.
If you could make one change to developers' approach to making games, what would it be?
What would it be? Less microtransactions, less fetch quests, more innovation, more unique games, harder games. That's about it.
What can be done to elevate ARPGs?
To elevate action RPGs. Man, that's a huge topic, and action RPGs are based on Diablo 1. The only game that elevated all of that is Path of Exile, with huge endgame content. So it's not the endgame content that's a problem in action RPGs. It's basically the balance of all of those games. So maybe with implementation of more buttons that you can use, action RPGs can be elevated. But that's never gonna happen. Why? Because they go, like now they're creating Diablo 4, okay, and they are gonna make it work on a PC and on consoles too. When you go multi-platform, Gamepad doesn't have as many buttons as keyboard, okay, and then you're limited in the things that you can do in a video game. Action RPG needs to be specifically made for PC and no other platform. So you're gonna use the entire keyboard, and that's the only way to elevate action RPGs. But that ain't gonna happen, at least not in the next 10 years.
What can be done to elevate Metroidvanias?
Nothing. Basically, I believe that's the perfect genre. Maybe just increase difficulty for all of them, because games these days are very easy, but it's a perfect genre, I would say.
What can be done to elevate CRPGs?
To elevate CRPGs. For isometric CRPGs, there is only one thing that can elevate them. They are perfect in design, in quests, in exploration, in leveling, in everything that you can think about, basically. There is only one thing that CRPGs lack. It's executions, or better to say, fluidness of combat, okay? There is only one game with executions in CRPGs, and it's Dragon Age Origins. That's already like nearly 15 years old game. And when you execute a monster, you can clearly see the full happening of that execution. Okay, like a mini cutscene. All other CRPGs are without executions, okay? Smooth executions. That's what is needed.
If you could make a remake of any turn-based game, bringing it up to date, which one would it be?
Heroes of Might and Magic 2 and 3.
CRPG seems a bit underground from my perspective, and its complexity way scares new players, so which CRPG you would recommend?
For new players, Neverwinter Nights 1 and Dragon Age Origins. And once you're done with all of those, then you can transfer to D&D CRPGs like Pillars, like Pathfinder, like Baldur's Gate, and so on. But definitely you should start with Neverwinter Nights 1 and 2. Maybe even Divinity Original Sin 1. That's about it.
What was your situation when you started with the channel? Was it from the beginning the full-time job? How you reached to make that for a living?
It wasn't a full-time job. I did a lot of different things and it was hard, but the inflation wasn't as now, so it was bearable, okay? If I was in that situation right now during this inflation, it would be disgusting. But because it wasn't that situation, it was bearable, I guess. It's hard to compare. In that era, 7 years ago, it was a different life, and I could handle all of it. I doubt I could handle it now.
What was the main reason that you started streaming?
The main reason that I started streaming, frankly, I always wanted to do it. Like nearly 15 years ago when everything happened, but there was no internet. Okay, there were no upload. You could get download like 10 or 15, but upload, there wasn't in my country. Okay, you can only get one. And when I started the first internet that offered upload, I immediately got it and I immediately started. My wife made me do it because I was playing games outside of stream, so why the hell not on stream then? That's how everything started. Later on, I realized that I wanted to do YouTube instead of streaming. Streaming is the thing that's a side thing basically. I get to play games so I can learn them and I can transfer all of that knowledge to my YouTube channel.
In your best years, long time ago, what were your one rep max in the big movements? Deadlift, back squat, strict press, etc.
Was training in a gym for over 15 years. I never used steroids. So let's say it was natural. Everything that I did was natural. And on bench press, maximum 1 rep. We're talking about 1 rep, okay? Was around 440, 150 kilograms. I think the similar is for squats, deadlift. It's always like you compare everything with bench press, it's always the similar numbers. I was extremely strong on triceps and weaker on biceps. I used to pull 60 kilograms and more with a bar on triceps and only 40 to 50 on biceps. That's about it.
Where are you from?
I'm from Serbia.
And where do you live?
In the apartment right now. I plan to move in a house very soon.
Do you have any kind of vacation? I mean vacation without a computer, internet, traveling somewhere, far from home, far from the news, far from everyday life? If yes, how do you spend it?
The most of my free time I get on with my wife, outside in nature basically, because my house is on the hill where my mother lives and it's extremely nice over there. That's where we run off usually during summer. We got a jacuzzi over there, the weather is great, and that's where we usually spend time outside. We rarely go outside of the country, especially because of this situation right now. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't, there's nothing I can do about it. I don't even wish to speak about it, what happened in the last 3 years. Okay, before that, we were traveling around. I personally, even before my wife, when I was younger, when I was 20 and so, I went through literally half of Europe. So I basically seen it all, and I like my country the most. Mountains and nature all day compared to everything else aside. Also, right now we like to go to our village. We got 2 villages. My wife has one and I got one also, and we spend a lot of time over there too when it's good weather, of course. During winter it's practically unbearable because on a mountain it can get extremely cold during winter.
Do you play computer games with your wife?
Sometimes we play all games, retro games, okay, like Cadillac and Dinosaurs, okay, things like that, beat 'em ups. Usually it's beat 'em ups.
How many languages do you know?
I speak English and all of the Slavic languages. I understand Spanish a bit of Italian, a bit of Mexican. I can understand
French.
Very little French. I'm bad with French and German, basically. I can understand Russian also, Ukrainian. I'm bad with, let's say, with Greek, with French, and with German languages. Sweden, Norway, Germany, Danish. Those are the languages I don't know. Everything else I can understand.
What's the meaning and purpose of life from your perspective?
Who on earth has that question, man? I'm not a priest to tell you about the meaning and purpose of life. I found life very simple. Enjoy yourself while you're still living and while you're healthy. Find a good wife. Eat well. Do things that you like. Don't listen to media, to TV, to newspapers. They're all freaking liars. Live on your own terms. That's about it. Very simple.
What are the highest weights in gym that you reached when you were in your prime?
Again, that question. I used to be above 100 kilograms of muscle with less than 10-12% of body fat. And my trainings consisted out of basically 2 hours without a break. Okay, I could do like 50 pull-ups, 50 push-ups, then 4 reps of bench, everything above 100 kilograms, and then transfer again to push-ups and pull-ups 50-50, then do biceps, then again 50-50, so you get the point. At the end of the training, I would do like 500 pull-ups, 500 push-ups, and 24 series for one part of body. For example, one day it was arms, the other day it was legs, then shoulders, then you get the point.
Your goals for 2023?
My personal and business goals for 2023. Personal goals, they highly also depend on business goals. I plan to raise my YouTube channel to the max. I started a few jobs aside also. I'll see if I can make something out of them too. It's gonna be a busy year, basically. But that's about it. Drastic changes are coming on YouTube, and that's a very important thing to say. And you're gonna see it very soon, starting from the middle of January.
Predictions for 2023 worldwide.
I'm not Nostradamus. Predictions. Inflation is gonna get even worse. There's probably gonna be another war. All of those cryptocurrencies will go to hell. People will fight for food and water.
You're supposed to say something nice.
The nice thing is, if you have food and water, then you're good to go. I don't see anything nice coming out in the next 5 or 6 years, to be honest. This world is going to hell.
This is not good.
I'm answering questions.
What was the most awkward moment while you were streaming? Some situation that was a bit...
I had trolls. It was one period of time, maybe 5 or 6 days in a row when I was playing Fallout 4. I think that was like 5-6 years ago. I was basically bombarded with bots. It was freaking terrible, man. Like bots. I used to have 5,000 viewers at the same time. 99% were bots, and then they were spamming the chat and so on. That would be the most awkward moment. It only happened once and never again in 6 years.
How are you dealing with negative comments on YouTube?
When I started the channel, I used to argue with people, to just type to them to prove my point. Why are they wrong or so on? Why am I right? Okay. Basically, I tried to negotiate with a wall, and I realized that 2-3 years ago, I don't even respond right now. If I don't like something, I just delete. I hide user from channel and I move on. I just don't have time. There is no way. I can't even respond to normal people on time. I really don't have time for trolls.
What's the worst comment that you ever read about yourself? How far that can go?
Yeah. I don't know. Every day I get something, okay? Like on every 5 normal people, there's usually one idiot that straight up hates you for nothing, and they wish you diseases, basically. That's the worst. All type of diseases. And they curse you and your family, even if they don't know you.
And your cats?
They curse everything there is, okay? It doesn't matter. That's about it. I just do hide user from channel and problem is solved.
Yeah, that's their reflection. And what's the best comment ever you read?
Best comments that I've seen on my channel are not when someone is praising my video like good job doing that or amazing job, or you know what I'm talking about. Thank you for doing something. Those are not the best comments I've seen. The best comment that I can see, and it happens from time to time, is that the player comes and says openly and directly, I become a better player because of your videos. Now I'm playing on the hardest difficulty available. That's the best comment that I can get. Okay, not when someone is praising my work, but when someone achieves something they don't usually do because of me.
How do you imagine your YouTube channel in 5 years from now?
Same as today, with only bigger number of subscribers, very small amount of trolls, a lot of normal people, and there's a lot of older people on my channel too. Most of them are above 30 years of age, like 90% of them, at least by the algorithm and what I see, the numbers and so on. Most of them are above 30 years of age.
Have you ever wanted to give up on streaming?
No, never. I get tired, I say I need a break, I take a break for a few days or weeks, I come back, but basically never.
What keeps you going during bad days?
My wife and my cats.
Which one is your favorite cat?
I can't separate them, and they're all equally important to me. I got a favorite cat, but they are all equally important. I just can't separate.
Why so many?
Because no one else wants to save them. And when you take 1, then 2, then 3, you lose count when 5 or 6 come, and then it's the same thing whether you have 5 or 10 cats, you feed them at the same time, you clean their shit at the same time, so it changes nothing, okay? They got their own room now, on my balcony. I made them a room out of the balcony, basically, and I can say I set my apartment free right now from the cats. Plus they got their own space. it's perfect right now.
Will that number keep growing?
No, it won't. Maybe if I succeed and have, I don't know, 100,000 subscribers, I don't know how much money, so I can open up my own shelter and keep the number growing, but not where I live. Okay, my maybe goal for the future would be to open up a shelter for both dogs and cats, of course.
If you're a billionaire, what would you do with that money?
Oh, it wouldn't be good for me to be a billionaire because
Couple of wives.
other billionaires would have a lot of problems with me. That ain't a good idea at all. Me taking and resolving problems of the world, that wouldn't end up good.
Short life of a billionaire. Okay. And some dreams that you would accomplish maybe with all that money. Which ones? Still unachieved.
I don't have any dreams, to be honest. Everything that I wanted I got right now.
Shelters.
Yeah, but I really don't have. I'm not greedy. Okay, I don't need a freaking thing right now anymore. It's fine like it is.
But having shelter is not greediness.
That's a different thing. It's just more obligation, let's say. But in terms of something that I need personally, okay, to satisfy my own needs, I don't need a thing.
Wish you a Merry Christmas,
Merry
we
Christmas.
wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas.
Dobro, ću te stavim tako. That will be it for 2022. I hope you enjoy the content. There's plenty more to come, and I plan to raise the quality of everything there is during 2023. During this video, the quality wasn't that good because all of my equipment is over there where I work. This thing that I'm recording with might have some audio issues, but I guess you can hear me loud and well right now. All in all, thanks for watching. Cheers.